When the Creator is ready to give you something great, the vibe surrounding your existence begins to move. You might not spot it yet. You might not get it yet, but inside your deep soul, you will sense it. There is a sacred tension. There is a movement, a stress, a spiritual tremor. It isn't bewilderment. It is getting ready. It isn't messiness. It is building work. Because before the divine gives out something large, he always adjusts all things that are unable to contain what he is going to bestow. And when you are about to collect something larger than anything you've ever thought of, you will not journey through your days the same way. You will begin to notice signs, clear heavenly markings that something is shifting in your favor. These signs are not common. They are not mere accidents. They are messages from above, markers that God is lining up the hidden pieces of your fate. But be clear, when the Almighty is about to bless you in a major way, it won't always feel good. In truth, it will often feel as if everything is being taken from you. That is a puzzle of divine change. When God is about to raise you, he will first isolate you. When God is about to lift you up, he will first make you humble. When God is about to trust you with something mighty, he will first test your base to check if it can hold the weight of his glory. The first sign you will observe when God is readying you for something large is heavenly separation. All of a sudden, folks who once walked near you will start to drift away. Friends who once understood you will now misunderstand you. Those who once backed your plan will begin to doubt it. You will look around and realize the group you once relied on has vanished. But listen to me, this is not rejection, it is redirection. God is trimming your circle, not because those individuals are bad, but because they cannot breathe at the altitude you are about to reach. You cannot bring everyone into the next phase of your destiny. Some ties are temporary, some are tasks, and some are only meant to wake you up, not join your journey. When God starts removing certain individuals, don't chase them. Thank the Creator for them and release them, because their departure is proof that your rise is close. The second sign is that soul fighting becomes stronger. You will notice unusual resistance. You will face attacks that seem impossible to explain. The moment you start to move closer to your breakthrough, the enemy will let loose everything to discourage you. Suddenly, the calm you once had seems weak. The thoughts in your head become heavy. The pull to quit grows stronger. And you begin to ask, why is everything failing when I am attempting to succeed? That's because you are no longer a threat when you are standing still. You become a threat when you are near something divine. The fight always gets fiercest close to the gate of favor. The stress increases because you are about to push something powerful into life. Do not view the conflict as a sign of failure. It is a promise that something holy is near. The third sign is unexplained aloneness. You may find yourself in periods where no one gets your spirit anymore. Chats that once helped you now feel empty. You walk into spaces full of people but still feel unseen. That isolation is not punishment, it is divine hiding. God pulls you aside to speak to you directly. The crowd cannot hear what heaven is whispering. Isolation is the room of insight. When God hides you, it means he is about to show something new through you. So when you find yourself alone, do not beg for company. Listen for clearness. That feeling of being alone is often the sacred spot where God shapes your vision, direction, and ability to judge. What feels like silence is actually a strategy. The fourth sign is that everything known starts to fail. The things that once worked stop working. The plans you made begin to fall apart. The entrances that were once open begin to shut. It feels as though the ground beneath you is shaking. But remember this, when God wants to move you to the next level, he will make your present level uncomfortable. When he wants to advance you, he will mess up your daily routine. You may feel like your efforts are wasted, but they are not. God is simply disrupting what you have built to create room for what he is about to build through you. He is shutting one entry not to penalize you, but to guard you from settling in a spot that was never your final goal. The fifth sign is a rise in sacred craving. You will begin to feel a deeper pull toward God. Your spirit will yearn for silence, prayer, thought, and doing what is right. You will lose interest in sideshows, talk about others, and worldly enjoyment. Suddenly, what used to amuse you will no longer satisfy you. You will wake up at odd hours of the night, feeling an urge to pray or think deeply. That is not by chance. That is the Spirit of the divine pulling you closer, because your next blessing demands spiritual maturity. God will never hand out large things to unready hearts. So when your desire for his presence grows, realize it is preparation. He is making you pure, resetting your soul, and deepening your roots so that when the favor arrives, it will not destroy you but support you. The sixth sign is strange directions. When you are close to a major breakthrough, God will begin to ask you to do things that make no sense. He will tell you to obey in areas that challenge your common sense. He might tell you to give something away, to move to a new spot, to leave a job, or to speak to someone specific. At that point, your logic will wrestle with obedience. But understand this, every order from God is a seed for the next stage. The greater the blessing, the stranger the instruction often is. Those who gain great things are those who follow without pause. When you learn to trust the whisper, you will see the wonder. The seventh sign is an inner certainty that cannot be moved. Even when everything looks unsure, you will feel an unexplained calm. It is not the peace of circumstance. It is the peace of alignment. You will feel that somehow everything is still working for your benefit. You may not know when or how, but deep down you know it's arriving. This is the quiet belief of faith. It is when your spirit starts to carry the scent of victory before your eyes ever spot it. When that peace settles in your soul, know this: heaven has already given out what you have been praying for. It is only a matter of time before it appears in your hands. Now listen carefully when these 7 signs begin to appear. Do not panic and do not whine. Too many people misread the process and ruin their own favor by complaining against the very God who is advancing them. When everything starts to shake, raise your hands and thank God. When people go away, thank God. When plans fail, thank God. Because each disruption is a heavenly message that something larger is being built in the unseen. You are not losing. You are climbing higher. You are not being punished. You are being placed correctly. You are not being rejected. You are being refined. God never gives large favors to small minds. Before He grows your life, He must first grow your faith. That is why you walk through the fire. That is why you face storms. That is why your heart breaks before your fate unfolds. Because in every trial, God is stretching your ability to carry what He has already prepared. Every tear you shed is watering the ground of your coming harvest. Every delay is creating the discipline you will need when the entrance is open. Every letdown is teaching your spirit to rely on Him entirely. You see, God's timing is not human timing. We rush, but God makes ready. We panic, but God plans. We look at the clock, but God looks at the heart. When you ask for something big, God will not say yes right away. He will first prepare you to be ready for it. If He gave it to you too soon, you would handle it badly. If He promoted you too early, the weight of it would crush you. So He guides you through a process, a purifying flame, a season of hidden training where He shapes your patience, your lasting strength, your humility, and your gratitude. There is always a divine pause before a divine delivery. Every great destiny carries the burden of waiting, and those who can wait with belief will always see God's power in ways others never will. So do not hate the waiting room. It is not empty. It is sacred. God does His deepest work in periods of quiet. While you are wondering if He forgot you, He is making your foundation stronger than ever. While you are crying, He is lining things up. While you are praying, He is getting things ready. And when it's finally time, the blessing will not just appear, it will pour out. Do you feel the shaking around you right now? Do you sense the disconnects? The battles, the aloneness, the strange shifts? Then celebrate, because these are not signs that God has abandoned you. They are signs that He is near. You are closer than you think. The stress you feel is not the end. It is the proof that you are changing. You are being lifted from where you were to where you are meant to be. When an arrow is pulled backward, it is only so it can be fired forward with greater strength. So, if life feels like it's pulling you back, remember it's because God is about to release you into something far beyond what you can imagine. Hold your faith steady. Guard your peace fiercely. Keep your spirit clean. Do not let bitterness, fear, or doubt steal your focus. The favor is already in motion. Every hurdle is being turned into a chance. Every delay is being shaped into destiny. And every storm that came to sink you will soon reveal the power of the Creator that carries you. When you begin to observe these 7 signs, lift your head high and say, God, I trust your design. Even when I don't grasp it, I will not lose faith. Even when I cannot see it, I know you are working. Because faith is not seeing and believing. It is believing before seeing. The favor is already written in your story. The miracle is already waiting for the right moment to meet you. Stay watchful. Stay humble. Something big is on the way. When God is getting ready to give you something large, He does not start with the gift. He starts with your heart. Because if the heart is not ready, the blessing turns into a burden. Many cry out for increase, but few are willing to be changed for it. God does not pour new oil into an old pot. He changes the pot first. He purifies it through events that seem painful but are actually intentional. When everything feels awkward, it is not that God has left you. It is that He is rebuilding you from inside. The blessing you are praying for requires a stronger, smarter, more yielded version of you. And that shift happens only through divine stress. When God is about to release plenty, He will first remove reliance. He will pull away the false props, the aids, the comfort areas you depended on. Suddenly, what once gave you strength will no longer satisfy you. What once seemed trustworthy will begin to fall apart. You will feel as though you are standing alone. But this is the wisdom of the divine. He removes the stand, and so you can learn to depend only on Him, because large favors demand pure trust. When God sees that your confidence is in Him alone, He releases the kind of provision that no human hand can take credit for. And when that trust begins to form, your eyes will open. You will start seeing life differently. The noise around you will no longer move you. The opinions of others will no longer define you. The letdowns of the past will no longer hold you back. You will find yourself anchored, calm in the middle of storms because you finally grasp that everything happening is part of God's design. That understanding is power. It is peace born from insight. It is when your spirit whispers, "This ache is not for ruin, it is for building." God is building something lasting in you that requires temporary discomfort. You see, when God is about to do something extraordinary, He often begins with something ordinary. He will ask you to be loyal in small matters, in hidden places, with unseen effort. It may seem as though your obedience is unseen, but heaven is watching. God measures greatness not by what is visible, but by consistency. Before He gives you something big, He tests how you handle the small. Many people want a raise, but they ignore the practice ground. They dislike the small beginnings, not realizing that what looks unimportant today is the seed of tomorrow's greatness. If you can be loyal in quiet, God will trust you with sound. If you can be focused in darkness, He will place you in a position of influence. Do not be fooled by the slowness of God's process. What takes time to build lasts the longest. God is not in a hurry because He is making you perfect. Every pause is divine design. Every wait time is a workshop for wisdom. You may feel impatient, but understand this: what God builds in patience cannot be broken by stress. When your time arrives, no one can stop it. No hand can block it. No system can hold it back. Because when God orders an entrance to open, even the iron gates of the impossible must move. And yet, when the entrance finally opens, it will not surprise you. It will confirm everything your spirit already knew. You will realize that every season of hurt had a purpose. Every prayer that felt unheard was readying the way. Every tear that dropped in silence was feeding the ground of your destiny. Because God wastes nothing. He uses even the broken bits to build the bridge that leads to your favor. You will look back one day and say, "Now I see why it had to happen this way." But until that day comes, do not grow weary. Keep walking, keep believing, keep speaking life even when you feel surrounded by death. Your words carry creative power. When you match your speech with faith, heaven answers. Declare the promises of God over your life daily. Speak not from what you see, but from what you believe. When God is about to bless you, your tongue becomes a tool of manifestation. You must shield it from negativity, doubt, and fear. Speak as though the miracle is already finished. Because in the unseen world it is. In the days leading up to your breakthrough, you will also notice that distractions grow. Every small conflict, every slight annoyance, every pointless disagreement will try to pull your attention. But this is the enemy's last attempt to drain your energy before the favor arrives. Do not fall for it. When you are close to something great, you must protect your peace fiercely. Not everyone deserves entry to your attention. Silence becomes your tool. Stillness becomes your strength. The wise do not react. They stay firmly planted. When you stop answering what doesn't matter, your spirit stays aligned with what does. And as you remain still, something amazing occurs. You begin to understand the rhythm of God's timing. You stop forcing what isn't moving. You stop chasing what doesn't fit. You start realizing that when something is meant for you, it will not need you to beg or break to get it. It will arrive with calm. It will fit easily. That is how you know it is from the Creator. Divine favors never arrive through trickery. They arrive through appearance. You do not chase them. You attract them through obedience. Let me tell you something powerful. Before every great favor, there is always a test of faith. God will let you face a moment that goes against the promise. He will let you stand in what looks like emptiness. Even though plenty has been declared over you, that moment is not meant to destroy your hope. It is meant to show the strength of your faith. Will you still trust God when nothing makes sense? Will you still praise Him when nothing feels right? Will you still hold His word above your fear? Those who pass this test step into levels of favor that others only dream about. Because true faith is proven not in comfort but in contrast. And hear this carefully. When God is about to widen your territory, He will first widen your endurance. He will teach you to stay calm under stress, kind under attack, and loyal under delay. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. The strongest people are not those who fight every battle, but those who can judge which battles are worth fighting. Some storms are not meant to be fought. They are meant to be ridden. Let God carry you through it. You will not sink. You will rise higher because of it. There will also be a moment when God tests your giving spirit. Before He can trust you with overflow, He will observe what you do with little. When He tells you to give, it is not to take from you. It is to open an entry for you. Generosity creates a spiritual flow. The more you release, the more heaven releases back to you. A closed hand cannot receive. Many people pray for abundance but live in fear of letting go. Yet every big favor flows through open hands and open hearts. When you give freely without pause, you declare that your source is not the world, it is God, and that declaration attracts miracles. When the blessing is close, God will also test your humbleness. Pride is the enemy of advancement. Pride shuts the door to promotion faster than anything else. That is why, in the moments before you rise, God will bring situations that remind you of your reliance on Him. He will place you in spots where your own strength fails, so that you may recall who sustains you. Those who remain humble rise highest because humility welcomes divine favor. And favor can do in one moment what effort cannot do in a lifetime. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the quieter heaven may become. Do not mistake silence for absence. When a teacher gives a test, they do not talk, they watch. God's silence often means He is observing your faith in action. This is when you must anchor your soul in what you already know about Him. Has He ever failed you before? Has His word ever come back empty? No. So even in the silence He is working. Even in the delay He is guiding. Even when you cannot see His hand, you can trust His heart. And then, just when you least expect it, the shift happens. Doors that were locked suddenly open. Paths that were hidden suddenly show up. What you prayed for months ago suddenly becomes real. You will stand in wonder, not because you received what you wanted, but because you finally understand why it took this long. God was never late. He was making sure everything was perfect. The timing, the place, the people, the conditions, all had to line up so that when the favor arrived, it would not just help you, it would glorify Him. But remember this, when the favor arrives, do not forget the process. Many receive and forget. Many rise and lose their respect. Never forget the wilderness that shaped you, the nights that strengthened you, the tears that cleaned you. Thankfulness must become your daily life, not just your answer. Thankfulness keeps the flow of divine favor open. The more you thank God for what you have, the more heaven trusts you with what is next. So when you begin to see the signs, the separation, the fighting, the isolation, the discomfort, the divine craving, the strange orders, and the inner calm, do not be afraid of them. Accept them. They are not signs of loss. They are signs of alignment. They mean heaven is active in your story. The unseen world is moving on your behalf. The blessing has already been written. It is just waiting for the right part of your life to appear. God has not forgotten you. He has been making you ready. You are not behind. You are being positioned. Every ache has purpose. Every silence has strategy. And every step has importance. You may not see it now, but soon you will grasp that every moment of waiting was worth it. Because when God gives you something large, it will not just change your life events. It will change who you are. You will become the person who can carry the blessing without losing the presence. When God decides to release something big into your life, He does not just favor your hands. He changes your spirit. Because what God is preparing for you requires a new level of spiritual strength, control, and feeling. You cannot walk into divine abundance with the same heart that got through the desert. You must grow. You must become the vessel worthy of what is coming. And that is why right before the greatest blessings, God starts a deep inner rebuilding. He takes you through seasons that demand forgiveness, humbleness, obedience, and firm faith. There are moments when you will feel as if the very ground beneath your feet is vanishing. The known paths that once guided you no longer work. The people who once praised you now misunderstand you. You will stand between what was and what is not yet. That is the in-between season, the divine pause between promise and fulfillment. This is where many lose hope, but those who understand the ways of God see it as the bridge of change. God never advances anyone without first making them ready and quiet. The in-between is where your roots go deeper. It is where your trust becomes adult. It is where you stop relying on what is visible and start relying on the invisible. And this is what separates those who receive from those who only wish patience. Patience is not sitting still and waiting. It is active faith. It is standing firm when everything in you wants to run. It is continuing to plant seeds even when the ground looks dry. It is believing that God's promise will not return empty. Even when your surroundings scream otherwise, every blessing that lasts is born through patience. Those who rush God lose what could have been eternal, but those who wait for His timing receive blessings that overflow across generations. When God is about to give you something big, He will also test your sight. He will ask you, can you see beyond your current struggle? Can you still dream in the dark? Can you still declare plenty while standing in lack? Because faith is the power to see with your spirit what your eyes cannot yet witness. If you can hold the image in your heart, God will make it happen in your life. He moves through vision. The clearer your spiritual sight becomes, the more aligned your actions will be. That is why the enemy tries to make you blind with doubt. He wants you to stop seeing, because once you stop seeing, you stop believing. And once you stop believing, you stop moving. So guard your vision with prayer, with purity, with focus. As God draws you closer to breakthrough, He will also refine your main concerns. You will begin to lose interest in things that waste your time. Talks that once amused you will now feel heavy. Environments that once felt comfortable will now feel tight. That's because your spirit is waking up to higher standards. God cannot raise a heart that is happy with average things. He will stir a holy unease within you that pushes you toward your purpose. That restlessness you feel is not confusion. It is a calling. God is pulling you out of the ordinary so He can trust you with the extraordinary, and in that process He will face your fears. You cannot step into something large while still bowing to fear. Fear restricts, faith sets free. So God will lead you into situations that stretch your confidence, that challenge your courage. He will show you that your safety was never in control. It was always in yielding. When you finally let go and trust Him completely, you unlock a level of divine help that makes the impossible possible. What once scared you will become your story. What once made you doubt will become the stage where His power is revealed through your lasting strength. One of the most missed signs that something big is coming is unexplainable calm in chaos. The storm does not stop, but somehow you are at peace. People around you panic, yet you stand firm. That calm is divine proof that God's hand is already upon your life. When you can stand still in the middle of noise, you are showing heaven that you are ready. The one who can remain quiet before something appears will remain humble after it arrives. That peace is not natural, it is spiritual. It is God whispering to your heart, do not fear. I am already ahead of you. And hear this truth. When God is about to give you something big, He will require you to let go of something you care for. It might be a connection, a comfort, an attachment, or an old identity. God removes the temporary to create space for the lasting. You cannot carry what was and still receive what is to come. Many hold on to ended seasons, praying for new starts. But God cannot fill a hand that refuses to let go. So when He asks you to release something, trust that it is not loss, it is an exchange. You are trading something limited for something enduring. During this change, God will begin to surround you with signs of confirmation. You will hear a message that speaks directly to your situation. An entrance will open unexpectedly. A chance will fit perfectly. Even nature seems to work with divine timing. These are not mere accidents. They are divine fingerprints. God leaves signs of His movement to make your faith stronger. He is saying, I am with you. Keep going. Recognize these signs. Thank Him for them. Because the more you acknowledge His hand, the more visible His guidance becomes. And then comes the divine test of sticking with it. The favor may be close, but the stress will reach its peak. You may find yourself at your breaking point. And that is exactly where many give up. But in God's pattern, the darkest hour is always right before dawn. When it feels too much to bear, that is the sign that the womb of destiny is ready to release. Pain is often the final proof that birth is near. Do not give up when you are tired. Rest if you must, but do not stop. You have already come too far. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of faith has built a momentum that heaven will not waste. The enemy will whisper, it's not worth it. It's not happening. But your spirit must rise and say, God has not brought me this far to leave me empty. This is how the chosen ones rise, by remembering who called them even when they cannot see where they are going. The unseen hand that carried you through the low point will not fail you on the high point. The God who sustained you in lack will make you grow in abundance. His nature is loyalty. His language is timing. When God gives you something big, it does not come to glorify you. It comes to show who He is. Your blessing is a tool of testimony. The more He gives you, the more He expects you to reflect His light. Do not hide what He does for you. Speak of it boldly with humbleness, so others may know that the same God who lifted you can lift them too. True favors never make you proud. They make you grateful. The more God gives you, the smaller your ego becomes, because you understand that without His breath you have nothing. And as your blessing becomes real, remember that increase also brings duty. God does not raise you for comfort. He raises you for purpose. Every resource He places in your hands carries an assignment. The greater the gift, the greater the management. Use what He gives you to serve, to uplift, to heal, to build. The more you help others, the more heaven flows through you. Because divine abundance was never meant to be held back. It was meant to be shared. You may look around right now and see no sign of advancement. But let me tell you, something is already moving. The winds of change are blowing. God has already written your next chapter. You may not see the pages yet, but the ink is dry. Everything you lost will be replaced with purpose. Everything that broke you will soon prove why it had to happen. The pain was not punishment. It was preparation. The waiting was not wasted. It was sacred. There will come a day when you wake up and realize that everything makes sense. The tears, the tests, the losses, all of it. You will look back and see the fingerprints of God in every turn, every closed entry, every lonely night. You will see that He was not slowing you down. He was protecting you from lesser things. Because when God gives you something big, He does not want you to share the glory with anything or anyone else. He wants it to be clear that it was His doing, so that your story becomes a mirror reflecting His power. So hold your faith like a sword. Speak God's promises like fire. Refuse to doubt in the dark what He showed you in the light. You are not forgotten. You are being shaped. You are not waiting for God. He is waiting for you to be ready. And when your spirit aligns, when your heart yields, when your obedience matches your prayers, the heavens will open. The flow of favor will be unstoppable. The blessing will come suddenly, but it will fit perfectly. And in that moment, you will know that every trial, every storm, every tear was worth it, because you will see that God's plan was never to break you. It was to build you into someone strong enough to carry His abundance with wisdom, grace, and humility. The waiting will end. The promise will speak, and your life will become living proof that when God is about to give you something big, He prepares you perfectly for it. Heart, mind, and soul. When the hand of the divine is about to move in your life, the vibe around you begins to change. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit begins to feel it. Suddenly you sense that something in the unseen world is shifting. You feel uncomfortable where you once felt secure, separated from places you once belonged. You begin to lose your desire for pointless conversations. Your heart grows restless and your mind begins to yearn for peace, quiet time, and clarity. That is not confusion. That is God calling you to a higher place. That is the quiet voice of destiny telling you that your old season has finished. You are being prepared for something far greater than your past, far bigger than your mind could ever imagine. When God is about to give you something big, He does not let you stay the same. He separates you from what cannot handle your future. He removes people, chances, and sideshows that would ruin what He is building in you. Do not regret what God removes. Thank Him for it. Because when God starts taking away, it is only because He is preparing to multiply. The ground of your life must be cleared before the seed of greatness can grow. You may not understand the process now, but one day you will look back and say, God, thank you for every entrance that shut, every delay that tested me, and every loss that taught me to depend only on you. When God wants to give you something big, He will shake your base. He will allow storms that test your belief and silence that test your patience. You will wonder, why is everything failing? But the truth is, nothing is failing. Everything is falling into its right place. God is rearranging your events so that when His favor arrives, there will be no confusion about where it came from. You will know it was not luck, it was not mere chance, it was the divine arranging of God Himself. You see, the path to divine elevation is never easy. Every chosen person must go through the breaking before the blessing. You must learn to trust when you cannot see the path. You must hold on when everything inside you wants to quit, because faith is not proven in comfort. It is formed in stress. It is when your back is against the wall.